Well, hello everybody. It's your boy Sam again, aka the Train Mother Main. My signs and blinds and kinds and dines. So, once again, if you don't like my intro, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm glad you're here. So, I'll spare you the promises from now on of how often I'm going to make a video. I believe when I checked yesterday, the last time that I made an update for the layout was, I think, like the last week of October. And in watching that video, I promised another layout by Thanksgiving, then by Christmas. Today is literally December 31st. It's the last day of the year. So going back, whatever's to 2012 or 13 when I started this channel, in pretty much every single video, and there's like 70 now or something, in every single video I promise that I'll have an update with a specified time frame, and I always fail, so maybe I'll just keep promising anyway just for fun. Let's get a little action shot right quick. This is going to be one of the longer videos I've ever done because there's so much to go over, so much progress, so much work that's been done. I'm sure even in the first minute or two that I filmed so far, you've already seen a ton of stuff that was not here last time, 2 short months ago. So we will get rolling here. Isn't this a nice little, I love that. Absolutely love it. But yeah, we've gotten a lot done. So things have really been ramping up here. First thing you will notice, and I notice it now every time I come down and flip the switch, we have decent and nice lighting. And boy, let me tell you, what a game changer it is. So in all the previous videos, go watch for reference. The only light I had over here was this light, these tube lights, and it shines down directly here. But everything back over there and over here was in the shadows. I had those tall corner lamps with the little bendy nozzle bulbs, whatever you want to call them. But they were only useful for, if I'm working on this scene, I have a tower light right here and a bendy bulb going directly where I'm trying to work, and then they would get in the way and it's more cords. Total pain in the ass, pardon my French. They worked well for their purpose, but now they are relegated to the laundry room and they do their job back there. So what I did was, those are 3-foot lights, went to Home Depot, bought 4 of them, installed another one back in my shop room. And I mean, the whole entire layout is now completely lit up. I think they were like just over 20 bucks a piece with like a 1-year warranty. And it says the bulbs last for 5 years. But you can see, I mean, literally every square inch of the layout is lit up. And not only rail fanning when I run trains, because I do run trains a lot. I mean, look at how nice and bright that scene is right now. And I'm, 7 feet away. Seeing how nice and bright it is while running trains, but also while working, it literally makes it feel like a brand new layout. It also makes things that look good look better, and it makes things that look bad look worse, which shows how good you're working, what you've missed, what needs improvement, and all of that. So it's the benefits to good lighting are countless, and I'm honestly sorry I didn't do this sooner. So obviously this is like my 4th or 5th major layout. It's the first one I've actually installed lighting for specifically while working on it. I know in previous videos I've said I plan to light it up, and now that I have, in my opinion, lighting now coincides with bench work. So the way I build my layouts now, the last 3, this is stuff I learned along the way. Design your bench work, the wood and the framing, and then pick where your lighting is going to be strategic to what your benchwork is going to look like. So build your benchwork, the wood, put the lights up, put the foam down, do your fascia. So by the time you start even messing with track, your benchwork and fascia and lighting is all completely done. You can make as many different track plans as you want. Obviously, I start with a very loose one, like 60%, mainly just the main lines. Fill in my industries and work around the space you have, because you're always going to change your mind. So by the time you even start putting track down and playing with trains or doing randomly placed buildings and stuff, you don't have to worry about the lighting. You're not sawing or bringing down lumber, and everything's good to go. So all you have to do is actually start designing the layout. So again, this is definitely going to be a longer video. I really don't care. There's a lot to go over. So let's start over here this time. Like I said, since October, I've gotten so much done. It's almost mind-boggling, and it's also mind-boggling I still have so much further to go, but the detail and the scenes, this is definitely, as far as I'm concerned, the cream of the crop for my layouts to this point. So we've got our little industrial park down here. I've done most of the scenics down here that I wanted to do as a baseline. Started doing some detail scenes. So you see we got some little crossbucks in there. I've got these paved parking lots and roads. We've done all the ballast and scenery over here. Got some pulled up rail, and the parking lot looks like it's imperfect. We got some bushes on the side of the buildings and whatnot. These two industries take box cars. And you've got your little bushes and stuff all up in here. You got your parking lot that comes through. Same thing over here. Nice ballast pile for the end of track over here. This is one of my favorite scenes. So you've got the parking lot that comes through there. This is obviously where it ends, some bushes and stuff, but the nice like alley view. And you can see the crossbucks in there, so I'm trying to get it to focus, but you get the idea. So I'd love to have like a switcher coming in to pull these box cars. Again, this warehouse takes a couple box cars too. I've got the gravel and bushes and stuff down in there. I'm sorry, I'm trying to focus it, but it'll look okay. And then this is just a continuation of the branch line. Obviously, it dead ends there in the layout's terms, but in real life, I would assume it would keep coming. So, working on some details, the water tanks and stuff. I've been weathering some freight cars, so I'll show you those on the train I'm running right now, but and some of these down here, I've been doing some weathering. I really want to weather my buildings sooner than later, so maybe I'll do an actual video on that. But, you know, obviously you can see from here back, I've done quite a bit. I'm going to do some more later this afternoon. But yeah, even just the crossbucks in the road being paved and not looking perfect because it's not supposed to be, you know, patched potholes and puddles and whatever you want to call all that stuff. I also extended a little bit right here and added a little team track so someone could come over here and unload box cars or load something into a gondola, or it could just be an extension of that track. And like I said, I just need to come in here and just touch up a few of those spots that are still showing through white, but other than that, I think it looks pretty awesome. So I haven't added any trees or anything yet, but coming along, I'm going to try and probably finish scenicking this whole section of this whole table. I'm probably going to try and finish scenicking and getting all this done first. And like I said, I'm doing all this little detail work and stuff. I want to paint these crossbucks, paint the poles brown, and get some more rail stuff, all that. So, I mean, you can see what I've got going on. And then down here, the cement plant. So the switch used to be up here, and it was a lot shorter of a secondary spur, but I made it twice as long. Brought this a little further back. I added like these old railroad tie looking things to make like a big compartment thing, and all these piles of cement or stone or whatever they might be. So this is actually a big, I'm calling it a concrete plant. You could see the road. The road comes down and then crosses the track right here and then turns into like a gravel parking lot. And we got the silo. There's definitely room for plenty of cars over there, which is a cool operation because the train can't come in on the head end. It's got to come in on the tail end and then shove to switch. So then it's bringing it back up into the yard, doing runaround moves. It's an interesting operation. I definitely plan to do a op sesh video here soon. I've already been doing several to make sure everything works properly, and it's a lot of fun. Like I said, you can shove into here, but over here the train has to be on the head end, and then blah blah blah, you get it. So, but yeah, I made this little like bin like you'd see at like a garden supply store where they have gravel and different kinds of mulch. So definitely looks cool. I also kit bashed this River Valley Mine kit or whatever. I took the elevator and put it going up into this silo. So I gotta like clean that up and make it look better. I just cut the hole, but it goes up into there and kind of, this is what the Medusa cement Walthers kit, I want to say. So I want to weather that up and make it look like it actually goes in properly, but never seen anyone kit bash those two together before. But with the piles down here, and you know, I added some rubbish on the track, end of track down over here, so this scene's really coming together. I'm trying to get as many shots as possible, but you know, you can see, I think it's looking awesome. I know a lot of the ballast over here on the little, I just call this the industry yard because there's the 4 industries over here that are, it's where all these cars are coming in, and just some random stuff. Like obviously there wouldn't be auto racks in there in real life probably, but the ballast isn't perfect because I'm gonna make it not as dilapidated as these tracks, but definitely grassed up and, you know, all kinds of junk and old rail, and might put like an abandoned pulled up switch with some track in here somewhere, I'm not sure. But so it doesn't look perfect, but I'm fine with that. But yeah, you can see, I think this looks really cool. Like I said, I'm glad that and you can see I've, a couple of these came in a 4-pack of micro trains weathered, but you could see which ones I weathered myself. Obviously the ones that look better are the ones that I did not do. But yeah, adding those extra couple feet of track, much more fun to switch, can take more cars, all that good stuff. So like I said, I plan to kind of finish scenicking this area here sooner than later, so I can move on to like the bigger scenes. We'll go down here to the mine area now. I pretty much painted the entire layout. The ground is all brown. There's a couple touch-up spots I have to do, like over here, because I had to do some work to put in the cord to go through for the lighting. Need to clean up the wires up there too. I just, you know, you can see it's kind of crappy looking here and here. I need to run them straight and staple them, but I just wanted to get them up. So over to the mine area, all the ground cover is painted, and then I've painted all the rock on the whole layout too. Like I said, there's still some touch-up spots. You can see I did over here as well. So that's all done. I've already done a few wet shades of burnt umber and Mars black and all that, just to start to shade them. I'm gonna do a few more colors, and then I'll be ready to do actual scenics on top of all of this stuff. But that's gonna be my big one scene at a time thing. Like I said, I'm gonna do all this and then probably do some here. I might do the logging camp next, just to kind of do some scenery on that side of the layout. So again, you can see I've got all my buildings back out. I had some people over last week, so I wanted to show off all of the scenes. But you can see nothing's really changed over here at the mine scene. It is ballasted. All the buildings are out. I still gotta cut the shaft to go into there, or I might just sculpt mold around it instead of cutting into it, build around it. But you could see, got the tunnel portal officially in. It's not going anywhere. So nothing groundbreaking there, but it's definitely, you know, getting close to ready for scenics. Go over this way. I put in these nice retaining walls on the one side, weathered up this tunnel portal too. It was concrete, so I think that looks pretty cool. I did end up cutting the top off of this, you could see, and before I sculpted molded and put the portals in, I cut this whole section out. Instead of just ballasting up to the shadow, I'm trying to get in there. I pulled the roof off and ballasted all the way through, so there's no, like, if you're looking close in, you just see the pink foam and whatnot. I painted it all and ballasted it all, and I think it really adds a lot more to the scene because it's a short tunnel. So if I was doing this right now, you know, right about there, it would look like crap. If you're up here, you might not notice as much, but I notice it was worth the extra hour it took me to do so, and I'm glad I did. So, and yeah, just with the lighting, it's just so much nicer. I mean, you can actually see what's going on. I'll stop scenery for a second, but here's some cars I weathered. These are obviously all clean, but weathered these CSX coil gondolas. It's a clean car, weathered that box car. That tank car came weathered that tank car. So let's get them down here. Weathered that yellow box car. So nothing too groundbreaking, just some dry brushing and a few other techniques, pastels, and you know, it makes a huge difference. You can see what cars are dirty and weathered and what are brand new. And honestly, I think I'm gonna weather my entire fleet. Like those 4 right there are just too clean. Those will probably be the next ones I do. So over here to the maintenance of way / engine facility. This whole yard's ballasted. all for the most part. I made some beat up rail and some rail on ties, and then some old wheel sets I put on a scrap piece of track. I don't know if I'm gonna leave them in this exact location, but I just put them in the scene because they're going to be part of the scene. I'm just not sure where, but they really fill it all out. Added this little shanty guy. He's been in, like, at one point he was in a mine scene on an old layout. He was in the logging scene on the last layout. I think he fits well in this scene for this layout. So I got my little maintenance away tie train parked. My brand new, it's my first ever Kato locomotive. Pulls really, really well. The detail's not as good as some of my other locomotives, but got him parked right here right now. Got the plow caboose and another caboose here. My 2 Atlas chassis, the old PA switcher. I'm not sure who makes that, but it does still run. It's DC though, so it's probably not going to see much use. But you can see I've scenicked up, put some end of track things, some more pulled up rail. Obviously at one point there were switches and all that. You've seen some of this before, but I added a bit more to it. So let's see about getting it from over here. I'll try and zoom in. Yeah, you can see. So I think it's, I'm gonna do a little more, but not be overkill with it. But it's definitely cool, just a little old beat up base of operations. It's obviously, I'm running Pennsylvania PRR mainly, and then some chassis CSX. So the errors kind of vary a little bit. But, call this like they're deep in northeastern PA type outpost or southeastern PA outpost, short line type stuff. So there's a Lackawanna in here that's, just a far and away shop. So that's what I want it to be. It's my layout. That's the story behind it. Pennsylvania operations. So did some scenery over here. Just I finally used Sculptamold instead of putting down more pink foam to add terrain, and I really love the way it comes out. So instead of cutting like a pink foam 2-inch block and having to Dremel it and file it and cut it and make a huge mess, I bought a 20-pound bag of Sculptamold, used it right here, used it to mount the tunnel portals, used it to kind of help fill in the rocks and stuff over here. And honestly, I think next time I build a layout, when I move, I'm sure I'll build another layout. I'm just going to do the basic foam, pink foam shapes. So the building blocks, and then just have them all cut square and rectangle and fill in everything with Sculptamold. So much easier to work with, takes paint just as well, and it's 100% customizable. I honestly wish I used Sculptamold on my last few layouts, but just another learning curve. So just did some basic scenery over here, nothing to really write home about. All of the track around the whole layout is ballasted. I don't know if that was exclusive last time, but so like I said, there's not really going to be much crazy stuff happening on this dog leg. So I'm like, let me just throw some scenery down. I'm going to do a little more, and there's going to be trees, and I'm going to fill it out with more bushes and grasses and stuff. But the Sculptamold went a long way. It's a little expensive, but it's not as messy. I didn't have to cut foam or Dremel or sweep or mop. Just get it wet, makes your hands dirty, plop it down, and it's dry within like an hour. So I let it set overnight, and I was able to paint it the next day. Same thing over here. I didn't want it to be perfectly flat. Like I said, I still have some touch-up work to do, but it just adds that it's not just flat land, it's 3D. It looks really cool. And it doesn't make a mess like the foam. Like I said, you're gonna spend a few more bucks, but to me, it was worth spending the money to have a more customizable scene and not have the mess. So I did add a pulled up switch. There's no switch, I guess, but I left some rail behind, which I think looks really cool. And this just abandoned, branch line, or maybe it went to an industry, God knows. And I scenicked it up. Let's see you get a shot right here. Good timing. So I think that looks pretty cool. Obviously, it hasn't been in use for a long time. Still some ballast, stuff growing through. And I literally had it come all the way to the edge of the table, which I really liked. I cut the turn at an angle instead of just having it come straight off, just a little more depth perspective. So I was pretty happy with that. One thing I'm realizing is, especially this section, which obviously splits the scenes and kind of is a focal point for, this side of the layout, that side of the layout. when I go to scenic this up here, I'm gonna need, I mean, I got all my scenery stuff, well, not all of it, but a lot of it out right here because I've been doing stuff here and there. I'm gonna need a ton of ground cover stuff. I probably have 60 or 70 trees. I don't think 60 or 70 trees is gonna be enough just to even fill out like from here to halfway down. If I'm gonna be doing, you know, I don't want just like tree here, I want a lush forest. So even once, let's just say I finish the layout completely, scenics and everything tomorrow, which isn't gonna happen, I'm gonna put out every tree I have, and I might just be forced to spend like $25 a month just on trees. And as I get them, just fill them in until eventually it's all as lush of a forest as I want it to be. I don't really see any alternative to that unless I make trees in bulk, which I'm considering and exploring my options now. So if I'm going to end up buying trees, it's going to be expensive and a long process. If I can make them as realistic and nice as I want them to be, then that'll solve that problem, but I'm not sold on that yet. And I'm not going to be putting up trees for a while anyway. So like I said, the layout could be done and I'm just adding trees for a few years as I go. Good thing is whether I buy them or make them, trees are something just like buildings and freight cars, and you can take them up and take them with you or reuse them. So nothing's really changed over here. Still have the bridge scenes. Haven't done any scenery. I'm going to save these for last because I just don't know what I'm going to do over here. Part of me wants to cut out this too and then build or buy a trestle. Probably have to custom build something that goes across this entire valley and fill this up as like a big lake, or have this kind of taper down to here and have the lake start here and then channel through. I don't know. I want to do a water feature. I kind of want a bigger trestle instead of these wood ones that I've used on every single layout. I did put some nice wood retaining walls underneath, so those are kind of looking nice. So I did kind of plan to have those trestles in there, but I'm just not sure, really not sure. But like I said, I'm going to leave these scenes for dead last. And even if I finish everything else and this is still sitting here like this, a layout's always a work in progress. So you can see the wood retaining walls. I didn't do one over here because it's kind of not necessary. So that's that over here. So I had this big open plot. I first did scenery over here. It was like one random day, like last month. I'm like, let me just practice some scenery techniques. And then I realized I just did this section. And the next day I'm like, this would be a good use of space for something. My fiance wanted to do like a farm and a pumpkin patch. So I bought some of this wood fencing. I know it looks like crap. It's not put in all the way. It's just mocking up. Bought this little old Bachman Plasticville farmhouse. Bought this little windmill. And I bought it's over there somewhere. I bought a pumpkin patch kit and a barn kit. And I'm going to buy some cows and chickens and just kind of do a big rectangular kind of fence, you know, barn here, a little garden pumpkin patch, little chicken coop, couple cows, and just, you know, a little gravel driveway going up to the house, maybe a little Silverado, and just do like a little very tiny farm scene. I did rock scenics too, so I had to pull all these up because it's going to be like grassland, so I got to pull all the rest of those rocks up. It's a pain in the ass, but like I said, little driveway, just tiny little farm scene, and then tapering down to whatever the lake is or whatever's going to be there. I just think it's a good use of space. She wanted, on the last 3 layouts, asking for a pumpkin patch and a farm scene, so she's going to help me with that, so that'll be cool. So then, yeah, over here, same thing. Put in these wood retaining walls, and it'll look cooler when grass and scenics are around it. Put them on both sides over here. Again, sculpt molded and weathered the tunnel portal, and I'm very glad that I did the ballast the whole way through. It just makes it look so much nicer, more clean. So there's that. Again, you can see except over in here, like I said, this is all pretty much from here across this shelf to here. You can see what I'm talking about. Everything from like here down where the pink starts and stops is up to mystery right now, but everything else is going to be the forest, the scenery. I've done all the rock work. I didn't shade any of this rock just on this section yet, but everywhere else you can see I've done colors, and I'm going to do a few more. I know it looks kind of drab in some spots, and obviously what's going to make the colors and the shading pop is scenery and trees and stuff like that. So I did do that all the way over here. And I love the way it looks, but it doesn't look 100% right. It doesn't pop. It looks cool to the eye right now, but it doesn't, like, oh wow, those are cliffs. It doesn't have that effect until the scene is complete, which is fine. So we'll get there. Back over to the logging scene. I bought this 4-pack of micro trains, center beams. Some guy was cool enough to make these Georgia Pacific custom loads. They do come off. Let me see. I don't want to derail these right now, but well, yeah, they come off. So I can have empty ones or full ones. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's just cardboard wrapped in the Georgia Pacific wrapping. So this scene's all ballasted. These buildings are permanent. Well, I could take them out right now, but that's where they're going to be. These two, I'm not sure. Need to make like a road coming in from somewhere and all that. And then just like on the last few layouts at the lumberyard, I'll have, piles of logs and sawdust and piles of stuff ready to be loaded. So it's come a long way. I did some 3D stuff back here. Not 100% sold on it yet. I might pull up like that and take this down a little bit and sculpt and mold it in, make it a little less intrusive. But I'm happy with it. I think it's it fits well in the corner. Not a fancy industry or anything, just like the mine scene. You got your main lead and then a couple switching tracks, loads for the sawmill, and then like a load track. So it's come along, like I said, and then it goes back into non-pretend land. As I've said, once you're out of the scene, you have your backdrop, but this is back to real life. I don't play backdrop and skies and clouds and all that. I want to model the railroad. That's what your focus should be. Your attention should be focused on. And then when you look up, well, yeah, that's a wall. This model railroad make-believe land, that's a wall. That's the ceiling. There's no, So I know other people might argue the logic, but that's how I choose to do it. So, and you can tell this clip alone, before I chop it up, it's 29 minutes long. So I'm probably going to have to edit an hour worth of footage. Haven't had one derailment or power stoppage yet. So that's always good. Trying to think what else. Got a couple new signs for Christmas, so it's much more filled out down here. She got me this Lionel 100-year bicentennial clock. They're pretty rare, actually, when I researched them. So at whatever time, I guess at in the hour, this train will choo-choo really loud. It scares the crap out of me every time and go around twice. So I'm assuming, based on what I read online, they only made like 1,000 or 2,000 of these and sent them all to the hobby shops, 1900 to 2000, so they're 20-some years old. So they sent all these to the hobby shops as like promotional items. And, obviously after that year went, or these hobby shops closed, or if they ever put them up, they're just sitting in stock rooms, or someone closed the hobby shop and moved all the stuff to their basement, or never put it up, or, so they're pretty rare, nice to look at. Then she also had all these prints made of 100-some-year-old photos. So that's St. Charles, Missouri. This is O'Fallon, Missouri. She's from St. Louis. I lived out there with her for a while. So actually right at this depot is where we first met. And I proposed to her several years later, about a year and a half ago now. So those are historical. And then Brecksville, Ohio, the old B&O station, the CT&V line. So this is my hometown. That's where I grew up. Great fishing spot right here under this bridge. And then this is Cleveland, the Terminal Tower, Cleveland Union Station. I believe that's just Penn Central right there. So some Cleveland stuff, hometown stuff, some St. Louis stuff. So I was very happy with those. Then again, I keep it clean down here. Like you could see, bench work fascia is all complete. Nothing to mess around with there. I've got several awesome scenes in the making. I'm doing projects here and there, even like doing these small little things. And, like, okay, there could be a bush right there. This ballast pile would look good right there. Well, those piers come down, so why don't I put ballast and stuff? I'm kind of getting more on this layout into, here's some pulled up rail. I'm kind of getting more into like the nitty gritty little details that actually catch your eye on this layout versus just like, oh, I just need coal mine, and then you put coal in between the rails, and you know, I'm trying to make it, you know, even like over here. Like at one point this was a bigger yard, but now it's, you know, if it wasn't being used by this short line or this outpost, it would be abandoned. So as I was saying, I'm trying to get more into the minutia, if you will, versus just a big, robust layout. So again, take a step back. It's 65.5 square feet. So it's 16 feet along the back, 2 feet wide, and then 8 feet long, 2 feet wide, or it might be 18 inches wide. And then this comes out 6 feet by 4 feet. So I did all the math. I've done it like 100 times just to be smart, but it's about 65.5, 66 square feet, call it. So it's definitely my largest layout by a margin. And to be 100% honest with you, especially the past week or so, I'm getting very itchy to expand again. And I don't know. Honestly, I kind of want to just go buy the wood tomorrow and do it and then call it a day. I would do something like how I expanded here. If you watch a couple of videos ago, I know I haven't been making them as frequently, so it was just the back layout, then I added this, and then like 2 days later, I'm like, screw it. I made a video when I added this. 2 days later, I'm like, screw it, and I went and expanded here. I think I want to do something like I did here. I think this is only 18 inches. Do something like I did here, over here. Have it come out all the way out to the corner here. I would have to move my big display shelf. That's kind of the biggest hanging chad, is I don't know where I would move that to. I honestly thought I could maybe move that right here and then just take all this fishing stuff and Applebee's it somewhere else, which I could easily do. But yeah, I'd have to move that shelf. And I would bring a switch from right about where the locomotive is now, have the main come out, and then probably have it be like 2 feet wide. Definitely not 3 or 4 feet wide like this, but another, you know, that's 18 inches, have it come out another foot. So about as wide as what the main table is, and have the main come all the way down and either do a reverse loop or just have one big rail yard. I think that's what I want, is another yard, but not a yard based around industries like here, just an actual yard. It would definitely be a stub end, so probably 4, maybe 5 tracks that are all runarounds. So I'd need 1, 2, 3 switches, and then 4 tracks. And so I'd need 6, if not 8 switches, depending how many tracks I wanted. And then have like a 2-foot tail, so I could still pull the locomotives through. But if I wanted to switch cars and run them around, I could as well. Not a whole train, but at least enough. And then just kind of have it stub end like I did down there. And then, so it wasn't just an entire rail yard. I was thinking about doing like a big, along the wall, big steel mill complex. That's like one big scene with like, you know, a track that goes into a building, and then another couple tracks that are like, you know, like a refinery or little tank cars for fuel. And then, you know, the little steel, I don't know what I'm talking about at this point, but a big steel mill scene that's like one big flat building drop. A big steel mill scene that's like one big backdrop building flat type thing with like, so that would be a kind of like the back of the scene with like 3D actual buildings and infrastructure, and then like have like a chain link fence in front of it, so clearly it's separated, but like 3 or 4 different spots for it to take different kinds of cars, you know, tankers and gondolas and hoppers, whatever it may be. Then have it fenced off, so it's only going to be like 10 inches, maybe a foot wide, as one big steel mill scene, and then come out, and then that's where the rail yard would actually be. So who knows? If I do, I do. I don't really want to spend the money. I could build it all in one day. If I ordered the track and switches, and then I go to Home Depot, build the benchwork, pink foam, I mean, I could have it without the track glued down and all that. I could have it operational in like a day. It's just, do I want to? So I'm keeping it in mind. Maybe I'll kind of get further along with all of this and put a couple bucks away a month, and then maybe do that in like the spring or summer. I don't know. It's like a big project to add it on, but once it's added and a part of it, you know, then I just do the fascia and the bench work, and then I don't even have to add the track right away. I don't know. I'm trying to talk myself into it. Let me know what you think. If you've watched this video this far, I commend you. Tips or tricks, Tony Hawk style, let me know. If you like what you see, let me know. If you think there's something I could be doing better, let me know. if you have a channel you want me to look at or give opinions on or whatever, just say, hey, check out my videos. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for indulging me for all these years and for probably 25 minutes today, probably longer. I guess I don't really got much else, but yeah, just nice scenes. Everything's coming along and I'm happy with it. So, all right, well, the train main, Happy New Year. Tomorrow's literally the new year. I'm going to keep trying to update. That's the problem though, is in the past 2 months, 2.5 months, I could have made like 4 or 5 videos with progress, but now you just got this one long video. So also let me know, do you want long videos with lots of updates or more frequent videos with little piddly updates? You tell me, but let's do a nice run by to end it. The train main. Out.